Wait for other people to join in. We're almost done. We're going to start, inshallah, very soon. Can I have some introductions very quickly from the start? Okay. Okay, and where are you working? Like which industry?
Yeah, I recently retailer. It's a B2B.
Yeah. Inshallah. So, pleasure having you. Farhan, right? Okay. MashaAllah. Okay. FedEx. All right. Welcome, Uwais. Thank you so much. Sorry? Amr. Okay.
I am from Florida.
Nice.
I called the accounting from Canada.
MashaAllah.
And I get to know these people from there. When you hear me, I just change the location and we talk to them.
Excellent.
So, that was I am currently working as finance manager.
Okay.
In Nomad.
We're in
Nomad.
Nomad. All right.
Part of alcohol. You hear about alcohol?
Okay.
The IPO, yeah.
I think this is that, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Pleasure having you. So you're into accounts.
I am in finance, yes.
Okay. Finance and accounts. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Mr.
I'm Saeed.
Saeed.
This is a quick graduate from today.
MashaAllah.
I'm still looking for a job, so I just graduated months ago.
Mabruk on getting graduated. Yeah.
Give me your food.
Perfect. See, benefit of networking. You found your employer just beside you. Amazing. Welcome to the meetup.
I'm Sulaiman Abdi, Director of Sales and Marketing.
MashaAllah.
Working in the group. Working in B2B.
All right. Which company?
Resident group.
Resident. Okay, hospitality. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Great. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Mr. Beside Mr. Uwais is behind. Yeah. How are you? MashaAllah. All right. I didn't get your name. I'm sorry. Saad. Right. All right. Sorry, you're far, so I cannot hear. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Miss, I don't know you. What's your name, Miss? Okay, Saudi. MashaAllah. All right, so we have like different industries. We have retail, we have accounts, we have. You were in accounts as well, Mr. Well, right? And then we have retired, we have teachers, MashaAllah. Some of the folks I know, Mr. Please, Esmat. Perfect. Perfect. It's not your first time. He's, mashallah, our regular. Yeah, I cannot say customer, but yeah, regular attendee. You're his friend, right? Muhammad al-Muslim. All right. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Which you said maintenance and? Maintenance, right? Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much for coming. We have the last one, Miss. All right, Miss Fatma. Perfect. Perfect. HR, right? Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. We're gonna start any minute. I need to ask their permission. Guys, can we? Okay. What's up? What's the All right, we're already live. So I'm gonna connect this here. And guys, if you can confirm if you can hear me. All right. Perfect. So I can be heard, right? So guys, it's always complicated to, as I said earlier, to have a session live and at the same time to have attendees sitting in front of you. You don't know if you should cope up with the delay that we have in the live session, or you should be tailoring to your audience that is sitting in front of you. But this is our first experiment to combine both of it, and I hope it goes very fruitful. But at the end of the day, there will be hiccups. We cannot avoid hiccups. But what I'm objecting for is to have maximum value for you guys from the content and from our experiences. And the content is already available online, but this will be more kind of a one-to-one talk that we will have with each of one of you based on my experience, our experience using getting things done's methodology, which is GTD, getting things done. All right, I did not pronounce it correctly. So I hope I'm very fine on the live session as well. Guys, whoever is watching it on LinkedIn, YouTube, and I believe Facebook, if you have any questions, feel free to use the comment section. We might not reply immediately, but inshallah we'll get back to you. We might also consider your questions here in the live session. So before we start, I just wanted to introduce our company, because this is something we do on the side as a community, and we're not doing trainings to earn money. We're doing it for the community and to meet amazing people like you. And our main line of business is different. So I will invite our business development manager, Mr. Hamza Afandi, to introduce our services very briefly. Like, Hamza, you don't have to hijack the meeting. Just 1 minute, 2 minutes maximum. Let them know what we do, and we're gonna come back to the main topic. All right. So please, a round of applause for Mr. Hamza. Hamza, please.
أكون الشخص الوحيد اللي راح أتكلم بالعربي. ف إن شاء الله إنه إيش أقدر أكون متواصل معكم بطريقة ممتازة. أول شيء إن شاء الله إنكم تكونوا مرتاحين وكذا يكون فيكم طاقة، لأنه ورانا لونج سيشن إن شاء الله. إحنا سحبي شركة متخصصة في إنشاء وتطوير المواقع، وأيضا إنشاء وتطوير التطبيقات على منصتين iOS وأندرويد. إحنا شركة متخصصة أيضا في الIT Solutions بشكل عام، فممكن نفيد الشركات سواء كانت شركات عادية أو كبيرة إننا نقدر نخش في بروجكت سواء كانت معقدة أو بسيطة. هذا بشكل عام نبذة بسيطة عن الشركة. هذول أحد عملائنا السابقين. عندكم وول ستريت إنجلش، عندكم بارغوت، عندكم ندى العنصر الخامس، وأيضا انضموا لنا في الفترة الأخيرة الناغي هونداي، وأيضا انضموا لنا كارترست. طبعا هذا مثال بسيط على إحدى المواقع اللي احنا اشتغلنا عليها. زي ما انتم شايفين التصميم مودرن بسبب انه احنا في عندنا مصممين خاصين، وعندنا ايضا ديفلوبرز متواجدين داخل السعودية وخارج السعودية، بحيث انه يقدروا انهم يستخدموا كل التقنيات المتاحة في انهم يسووا كاستم كرييت لأي عميل، بحيث انه نقدر نسوي فيل ريكوايرمنت بشكل ممتاز. هذا ايضا احد التطبيقات اللي اشتغلنا عليها برضو، الكار تراست. زي ما انتم شايفين التطبيق معتمد على لغه رياكت نيتيف اللي الان فيسبوك وانستغرام كلهم شغالين عليها، فاحنا نستخدم اخر لغات البرمجه في تطوير التطبيقات. عندنا ايضا بورجت، الويب سايت سوينا لهم ويب سايت، وسوينا لهم الويب سايت طبعا زي ما انتم شايفين على الفون بيتغير شكله لانه موبايل فريندلي. وايضا سوينا لهم سي ام اس، حاشرح لكم بعد شويه سي ام اس ايش فكرته. طبعا فكره انه يكون الويب سايت موبايل فريندلي هذا شيء جدا ضروري. في كثير شركات ويب سايت ديفلوبمنت ما تنتبه للموضوع هذا، مع انه اغلب في 2018 اخر دراسه تمت اغلب اليوزاج اغلب الترافيك بيجي على الويب سايتس من الموبايلز ابلكيشنز يعني 80%. فبالتالي انت لازم تهتم ايضا للويب سايت للتابلت، فانه يكون الويب سايت فريندلي معاهم، يقدر انه يشتغل على كل المنصات. ايضا فكره السيرش انجن اوبتمايزيشن، ما ادري اذا قد سمعتوا عنها قبل كده. سيرش انجن اوبتمايزيشن هذا واحد من اهم الاشياء اللي تقدر تسوي لك اورجانيك ترافيك على الويب سايت حقك، بحيث انه انت حتى لو كنت قاعد تسوي يعني ماركتنج كامبينز او نت، السيرش انجن اوبتمايزيشن حيفيدك بشكل مره كبير انه يوصلك للعملاء مجرد ما يبحثوا عنك يقدروا انهم يوصلوا لك. فهذا جدا شيء مهم عن طريق استخدام كي ووردز نحاول نحطها في الويب سايت تهتم في الفيجن حقك او وصول العملاء لك. ايضا السي ام اس سيستم، طبعا فكره السي ام اس سيستم بشكل عام هي فكره انها الان لو كان الويب سايت فكرته انه يقدر يستقبل طلبات، يقدر يستقبل اوردرز خاصه بالعملاء، حيكون فيه خلفه سي ام اس مخصص خصيصا للشركه، حيث انها تقدر تستعمل وتستقبل كل الطلبات او الفورمز اللي تتم عن طريق الويب سايت. ايضا يقدر يطلع منه اناليسيز، يقدر يطلع منه داتابيس خاصه بكل الريكوست اللي تمت في الويب سايت. فانت في عندك اداره كامله للويب سايت سواء كان ويب سايت خاص او ايضا ابلكيشن معه. كاستمر مانجمنت سيستم. ايضا كمان نقدر نسوي لك كمان فري سي ام اس تريننج، يعني احنا بنقدم سي ام اس تريننج بعد ما نخلص. طبعا احنا هنسوي لك كاستم ديزاين للسي ام اس تريننج بعد السي ام اس سيستم، بعد كذا هنسوي لك تريننج للموظفين اللي عندك عشان يقدروا يفهموا بشكل خاص كيف يتعاملوا مع النظام. مجرد ما انه بروجكت يصير انيشيت ويتم، حيكون الموظفين حقونك ريدي تو ورك. بشكل مختصر الشركه حقتنا هي الشركه اللي حتقدر تتبنى اي فكره سواء كنت موظف في شركه او انديفيدوال في انها تخلي فكرتك توصل للواقع. كثير برامج الان نشوفها اصبحت شركات كبرى، هنجر ستيشن، زاد، نعناع، كل هذه شركات كلها فكره تمت عن طريق شخص، مجرد اللي سواه انه توجه للشخص المناسب للشركه المناسبه اللي قدرت انها تخلي فكرته توصل للواقع. فالافكار انا حتبناها، مجرد ما تتواصلوا معايا انا متواجد. مجرد ما تكتبوا سحبي في جوجل راح يطلع لكم رقمي على طول، في جوجل مابز راح يطلع لكم رقمي على طول، في الويب سايت تقدروا تتواصلوا معي على طول. اي فكره ممكن اساعدك في اني اطورها، ممكن ازيد لك افكار عليها، ممكن اساعد فكره شركتك اذا فهمت الفيجن حقك ونسوي لك هي. هذا انا، هذه سحبي، بس انتهى جزئي.
Thank you. Amazing, amazing. I hope you have switched the screen there. I have to remind you every time. No? All right. Thank you so much, Hamza. Guys, if you have any questions related to our services, you can always contact Hamza. I wish you had your number there, but it's totally fine. I'm going to switch to our main topic today, which is getting things done. Let me present it. Just wanted to make sure that the screen is available live. Please let me know if there's any hiccups. All right, so let's dig into our main topic. We do have some attendees. Please have a seat. And if you haven't taken any refreshments, coffee, water, we have it at the corner. All right, perfect. Great. I have a question. I'll start with a question here. And it is that, can someone define who is a knowledge worker? Just raise your hand and I will ask. Knowledge worker. Just raise your hand. All right? Just a minute. I'll bring the mic. I want to record this, so you will feel embarrassed later.
No problem. Okay, knowledge worker, like the guy who has experience and knowledge on his field or specialization. Knowledge worker, maybe sometimes it's less skillful in certain other computer things or like maybe fast doing things, but he has a good knowledge and good experience.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for contributing. And I just wanted to add a little bit more to this with my personal experience. Like my dad, when he came to Saudi almost 40 years ago, Allah Rahamu, he's not with us anymore. But when he came to Saudi, he didn't know how to use computers. We didn't have computers at that time, maybe, but he didn't know how to use even paper or pen. And he learned all of this, but he actually came as a laborer. And then he learned, he met with people, he networked during that time, and then worked up the ladder. But when he came, he was not a knowledge worker. He was working literally on civil projects, managing people, and not using knowledge or paper or even computers or screens. But now we live in an age where most of the jobs are either service related, even the jobs that are in engineering and civil sector, they're also using heavy knowledge in the form of maybe your mobile phone, in the form of your tablets, in the form of your laptop screens. Everybody is using an email. Almost everybody. And email, when you see that it's a content, it's a form of knowledge. Our ancestors were not facing the same challenges that we are facing right now. Like even a student of this age is facing more challenges than a worker some decade ago or 2 decades ago. So we're talking about challenges that were not present before, and we need to cope with them with new ways. We cannot cope with them with the same ancestral advice we used to have from our ancestors, with all due respect, but we need to follow new methodologies which will help us cope with the stress. Like yesterday, I'll share my experience with you. I have a friend of mine who came to me on Friday, and he was so much stressed because of a lot of tasks that he have pending, and he cannot enjoy his weekend. Because why? He has those tasks in his head. And subhanAllah, our brain is a problem-solving machine. Allah made our brain to solve problems, and we have plenty of them right now. Our brain is constantly working and working and working. And in this methodology, if you want me to ask, what is the lump sum? What is one line? If I want to explain to you what is this methodology or what is any productive methodology, it's that we have to trick our brain. We have to play with our brain to not to make us into stress, not to get us into stress. Because if we lose control of our brain will control us, and we will have no authority, no control over our lives. All right, enough of the boring talk. Let's get serious here. What can you expect from today's presentation? My objective is that when you go out from this session, inshallah, I want you to be uber productive, very productive. Why Uber? Because Uber is very fast, right? So that's why I use the word Uber. And I want to give you an introduction of productivity, like what is the philosophy behind productivity. A lot of people think that productivity means to accomplish as much as possible. No, guys, we're not machines. This is a job of a machine. We can never compete with machine. A philosophy of a productive life is to control our tasks in such a way that they don't control us. We have control over it, and very importantly, we should know what is important. Not everything that is bombarded to you is your job. Not everything which is given to you is your job. You either have to do it yourself, if you enjoy it. If not, you have to delegate it. And delegation is not just for managers. It's for everybody. We actually practice it at home. Like I have my son. If something my wife tells me to do, I delegate it to my son, right? Why we cannot do it with other things in life? And my wife does the same, by the way. It's not just me. So delegation is an important skill or habit that we need to master, which I will cover. Oh, postpone it, right. Very important. The third point is to postpone it. Not everything needs to be done immediately. I know my team members are here right now. Please don't tell me this when I give you a task later. They're like, okay, I'm going to delegate it to someone. Or postpone it. They're experts in it, by the way. So whatever we're presenting today comes from the book by David Allen. I have huge respect for him. This book was initially written in 2001. I recommend reading it. It's a comprehensive book on productivity and this methodology. And inshallah, I hope that you will buy it. I'm not getting any commissions, don't worry. And it changed my life. My manager gave me this book after seeing some serious problems I had with work. I was working very hard, but I thank him for recommending this book to me because it really changed my life, not only during work, but also my personal life. So a productivity system, as I said earlier, is not there to allow you to do as much as possible. No, we're not in that race. A productivity system allows you to make better decisions, to allow you to prioritize your life, to allow you to think what is important in life, and then you do that task and you give it more importance. Again, I will repeat this because this is a common issue. We cannot do everything in life. We cannot be everything. Like you might have seen that famous quote that you can be everything in life. No, that's incorrect. You can be anything in life, but not everything. You need to be selective. All right, so that's the whole purpose of productivity philosophy. So a short introduction about the book again. It has a cult-like status right now. The guy started training employees from Google, executives from Microsoft, creative folks from Apple. So I recommend also following his podcast. He has a podcast where you can listen to while you're commuting to work. Yeah, same guy, David Allen. If you search for podcasts in Apple Podcasts or you're using Android, you can look for the apps. You can remind yourself, and with reminder, we can develop habits, inshallah. So what are some benefits of any productivity system, not just getting things done? First of all, it's a skill that we need to develop. It's not something that, okay, you buy it and you use it and done. Your life is changed like magic. It is a skill which you need to work on and which you need to develop. And skill, as we know, is a muscle. The more you focus on it, the more time you spend on improving a skill, the better you become. So anyone who claims that he is an expert in productivity, he means that relatively among everybody else, he might be better. But this is a skill that you can keep improving in your life. Applying any system, not just GTD, helps you in teaching yourself and others productivity. Because without any system, without following any system, what happens is that you're just blindlessly wandering among different tools and techniques. And there's so many around there. So following a particular system helps you to improve and grow in that system. All right, and I hope the GTD system will fulfill your needs as a knowledge worker. Again, systems or any system avoids complexity. Why we're talking about systems here, guys? Because there are people, and including myself, I used to be among those people who think that why I need to follow a system? Why cannot I just use techniques from here, tools from there, which is a good way. But why follow a particular system? The thing is, what I missed, the idea that following a particular system allows you to upgrade your skill, grow your skill, enhance your skill in that particular system or whatever system you're following. Again, systems help you making conscious choices in life. And we will come to that slide where I show you how you can make choices in life whenever a task comes to you. All right, I hope my team is not listening when I come to that slide. So in GTD, we have 5 concrete steps that you follow no matter what in every task when you have. First of all, you need to develop the habit of collecting. What is collecting? Collecting in short means that whenever someone gives you a task, whenever you have a new email, whenever, let's say, your wife gave you something to do, your kids gave you something to do, this process is called collecting. All right. And you might think, okay, I'm already collecting it, but we are collecting it in the wrong place. I will come to that slide. I'll tell you which wrong place we're using and which is the correct place that we should use when it comes to collecting our tasks. All right. Just one comment, guys. Can you please help the new attendees that just came? We need to transfer these chairs there so they can sit. You're here for the workshop, right? All right. Can we please transfer these chairs so they can sit? Be careful of the wires. And people who are watching it on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, please use the comment section. Inshallah, I'll get back to your questions and answer them in this live session very soon. All right, I think you should go from there. Yeah. The second step, guys, I need you to focus here, is process. Once you're done with collecting all your tasks, we need to process them. And I will explain to you later what does it mean by processing those tasks. The third one is organizing. Here comes the prioritization. And it is as equally important as the whole presentation. The fifth one is review, which is, guys, if you develop this habit, like let's say if you don't want to apply all of this, but just develop this habit, this has a huge ROI, return on investment, if you just develop this habit of reviewing. All right. And I will explain later. Thank you so much. All right. And of course, do. The doing part is pretty forward. It's simple. Doing means to take action. Okay. I'll start with capture, but I want to test your memory, okay, very quickly. I know there were some distractions. Very quickly, I'm going to go back to the previous slide, and I'm going to ask for a quiz if you remember the 5 steps or not, all right? Very quickly, in 2 seconds. 1, 2, all right. I'm going to randomly ask someone. I believe you look very smart. What's your name? Can I know your name? Yes, I know your name, but I want others to know your name. Sarish, all right? Sarish would say, I will never come to Ahmed's events next time. He makes me ask quizzes and makes me into an uncomfortable situation, right? Now, mashallah, Sarish is a trainer, professional trainer, and that's why I chose her to answer this. So, Sarish, can you tell us what are the 5 steps in GTD methodology? Like, okay, you remember the first 3, okay? Collect, process, review, okay. All right. Review was the 4th one. Okay, what was the 3rd one? Organize, right. What was the 5th one? Do it, okay, just do it, right? You're a representative from Nike, right? Great. So the last one you can remember from Nike. Just do it. All right. So the first one is capture. Second one, process. Third one, organize. 4th one, review. 5th one, Nike. Just do it. Perfect. All right. And people who are watching on YouTube, I want you to also write it in the comment section so you can test your memory as well. I'm not going to give you any marks for this. Okay, the first step is capture and collect. Capture and collect. What does it mean? As I said earlier, that you collect, but we have been, what I said regarding collect, we have been collecting in our wrong places, right? Can someone tell me which wrong place we have been using to collect our tasks? Anyone? Yes? In our minds, correct. Putting everything in your mind, even though you might think, okay, you're smart, you can put everything in your head. No, this is the wrong place you should be putting stuff in your head. You know, you might have heard about Zen-like mind. A Zen-like mind is something which is empty, which is clean. You're not literally thinking about anything because everything that you're supposed to think is on a piece of paper. Right? I'm a tech guy, I'm a developer, I'm a programmer, I'm a geek. But I wanted to show you something. Allow me. Listen up. Like I have all the fancy machines I have, cell phones, tablets, but I keep this around with myself, right? Why? Because it's very quick to collect. Even though I can do it on phone, but my phone distracts me. And my friends know this very well. I'm someone that can be distracted when Ahmed breaks glass there. So I get distracted very quickly. I get distracted. He's gonna pay from his salary, don't worry. So I get distracted when I'm there to open an important email, and then I see a notification about a cute puppy, and then I will gonna explore cats and dogs on Instagram. We're all guilty of this, right? So that's why I use this. I keep this with myself for collecting ideas, collecting tasks. Even when my family members tell me something to do, I have a pen with myself. Call me old school, but this is what I do. But this methodology does not teach you to use a paper and a pen. You can use anything you want. The important thing is to keep it out from your head. Never ever keep anything in your head. Our mind, when you don't write anything down or you don't put it on a task list, our mind keeps, subhanAllah, it keeps thinking about it because it's a problem solving machine. Allah made our heads, our minds, our brains as a problem solving gift, and we can only solve one problem at a time. But what happens is when someone is giving you list 1, task 2, task 3, our brain keeps working on them one by one and we don't accomplish anything, and we never know we're into stress. And we need to avoid this. And how we can avoid this? By collecting. Have this habit of collecting either on a piece of paper, either on your smartphone, either on your tablet, or on your task list on or laptop. If you develop this habit, inshallah, your brain will be clean. Your mind will be focused and you will be more attentive. Like men get this complaints from their wives a lot of times that you're not listening to me. And it's true, because we're not listening to them. We are, even though looking at them, we're thinking about a problem that we haven't collected yet. And females are also guilty of this, but mostly men are guilty of this. I don't know why. I don't know, but we are. So guys, if you want to have a healthy relationship with your spouse, start collecting your tasks. And all of a sudden I became a marriage consultant.
Hundred million of things, but again, filtering the good things because sometimes I do this before, but it was really the worst idea for me because I collect the things and then when I go back to review that, I couldn't read it, 10 steps. I was like, Doctor,
It's like Dr. Knows, right? Okay.
It cannot be right.
Absolutely. And filtering is called organizing in GTD. And we're coming to that part, inshallah. MashaAllah, you seem like an expert, Yani. You should come here. Just kidding. Okay. Second is process. So you're done with collecting, as Mr. Amr mentioned, that you're collecting, but you might forget them. And this happens. I'll tell you what happened. Like when I started following productivity techniques, and one of the many famous techniques is that, okay, you should start writing things down. This is in almost every productivity technique we have around there. But that's not the solution to your problems. What happens is, subhanAllah, once you write things down, your brain thinks that it's out of my responsibility. It forgets. It's not my responsibility, it's the book's responsibility to finish the task. It happens. And you might have felt that, okay, you're writing things down, but still you're forgetting things. You're having embarrassed moments in front of your manager, and you're like complaining like, man, I wrote this down. Why I didn't do it? Is it something wrong with me, or is it something wrong with these productivity techniques? The second habit you need to develop is to process and to review. And I'm going to come to the review part. But what is process? Process means you have to, first of all, prioritize everything. Like, for example, if you have task 1, go get the eggs. Task 2, finish manager's presentation. Task 3, send an email to the client, for example. Which one is highest priority? For me, is to get the eggs. This is high priority. So you prioritize that task and you need to put it on number one. And how do you prioritize? We're going to come to that part. In GTD, you don't prioritize by 1, 2, or 3. In GTD, you prioritize by putting it in your calendar. Specific date, specific time. There are two benefits of putting it in your calendar. First, calendar keeps annoying you with notifications, so you don't forget. Third, we do have a habit to look at our calendars because we are more conscious of meetings than tasks. So when you put your task in a calendar, it helps you in getting back to your task. Your brain thinks, oh, now I'm in emergency mode, I need to do this task. The third benefit of putting your task in a calendar is that when someone asks you for your time, can you do this right now? You don't have to immediately reply. You said, okay, please wait for a minute. You're on the phone with the guy. You check your calendar. Your whole day looks full because your tasks are there. You tell them, sorry, mate, I cannot finish this today. Give me tomorrow. So the calendar helped you in answering or prioritizing future tasks as well. And then let's say your manager says, no, this is an urgent task. You need to be doing this today. You can just tell your manager, all right, Mr. Manager, I have tasks that I have to accomplish, task this, and this. Of course, you don't have to tell him I have to bring the gags. Forget about the eggs part. So your manager then have to prioritize it for you. You tell the manager, which task should I remove from today's list and put it tomorrow? And now you're delegating your brain power to the manager, which becomes easy. Guys, this habit of putting my task in the calendar had helped me in avoiding difficult conversation with my manager. Because now my manager knows I'm not joking around. I have things to do today. And if I'm not doing your task, it means I'm focusing on something else, right? There is an important exception, which is called 2-minute rule, which states that if a task and it takes 2 minutes, don't put it in your calendar. Just do it right away. For example, if an email takes 2 minutes, it's not worth it to put it in your calendar because the time you will take to put it in your calendar is more than 2 minutes. So it's better to finish it ala tool. For example, you might need to follow up with someone quickly. Follow up with that person immediately and get that out of your system. Mark it down in your collection list. By the way, just so because you got bored from me, I wanted to, this is a surprise thing that we just had recently. Mr. Ahmed Wazir, inshallah, will show you GTD methodology in a practical way using the amazing system called Notion, right? And Ahmed, since I just saw you and remembered, can you just also speak about the areas of the cafe and also mention what you're gonna cover in the presentation just right now, just in the middle? Yeah, just right now. Yeah. Here. Sit here. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. My name is also Ahmed. We have a lot of Ahmeds here today. First of all, thank you so much, everyone, for coming to this workshop. It really means a lot to me and the other Ahmed. So I'll just give you a quick background about who I am. Ahmed and I basically did our MBA from Prince Mohammed bin Salman College, which is in King Abdullah Economic City. We both are foreign investors and we are also owners of our own businesses. More on my business in a bit, so I'm just going to focus on what Ahmed has asked me. So I'll be talking about this application called Notion. I will show it to you what it is about. It's basically a workspace. You can create a workspace for yourself. You can create any kinds of templates for yourself, especially if you're a freelancer. This is the best application you can use in order to organize your work. Because I'm pretty sure everyone over here has an issue organizing work. Like, for example, all of a sudden you get a call in the middle of the night. Hey, do you remember a project we worked on 2 weeks ago? Can you send it over? And then there are 15 folders that you have to go into and see which is the best available format that you can share. So how to make that a little bit more organized? How can you systemize things? This is something, inshallah, I'll be covering. So that's about Notion. Now, if I was to tell you about this cafe, this is actually one of my clients. I provide social media marketing services to them, and we just signed them just a little bit before October. So this is a specialty cafe. If like, does anyone know what's the difference between specialty coffee and commercial coffee? No, not the temperature. I mean, there are other things to it. It is to do with the beans. So this is a higher grade of coffee. This is basically healthier than going to any other commercial coffee brands out there. I'm not gonna name them, but if you like Starbucks, for example, so you should be careful. Yeah. So you have to be very careful with what kind of coffee you put into your system. So Ahmed, you want to take over? Oh, by the way, there's free coffee right there for every one of us, and there's water also. For the toilets, ladies' toilets upstairs, gents downstairs, and whoever smokes, there's a smoking area also outside.
Is it free trade? I mean, fair trade.
Fair what?
Fair trade.
What do you mean fair trade?
Coffee. There is like certain brands in the world. They have certain coffee that is fair trade. Fair trade, it's an organization.
No, so it's not associated to any organization. It is locally, I mean, it's imported from outside Saudi Arabia. It's just roasted mostly in Riyadh. Then they have a partnership with another brand, which is a Muhammasa, a roastery. They provide them with beans and coffee beans. So that's basically how they're serving their coffee. Yeah. All right. So Ahmed.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, for letting us know that we can get refreshed with coffee. And thank you for sponsoring for the coffee as well, because we're broke. Anyways. All right. Okay, so where were we? Okay. Perfect. Okay, I just wanted to check if you remember. Yes. 2-minute rule. That's the recent one. All right. Your hafiza is very good. MashaAllah. All right. All of us are good, yani, but you and me are on the both same level, yani. Okay. So the 2-minute rule, as I said, before I repeat it, can someone tell me what is 2-minute rule? You? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
To be on the camera.
I mean,
No, sit. Yeah.
there are certain things, that you can do it quickly, based on time priorities, So such things like, which require more times, So you have to definitely do it later, and things that you can do it very quickly. So that's 2-minute rule. Yeah, yeah.
So
And
something that you can do it very
yeah,
quickly,
yeah.
you should do it. You need to put it in the calendar.
Yeah, this way you will end up having less task, even though if it's just 2 minutes, but it's in the list, So you don't want to have your list full. So try to minimize, I usually do that. I go with the task, that requires really less time. So yeah, that's
Thank you so
how I
much,
utilize. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Clapping is good for health. So, all right. So, Farhan, by the way, inshallah, we'll have a music session. He's our friend, very dear friend, and we'll have a short music session with my favorite songs. Don't worry, and I will bore you to death. So, please bear with us. All right. So, 2-minute rule states that, as I will repeat that. Okay, you have to do tasks very quickly. Don't, which takes less than 2 minutes. No need to put them in the calendar. All right. And organization part, the prioritization part. How should you prioritize? See, when it comes to organizing, the very first thing is elimination. Remember when we started the presentation, we said not everything is your job. Whenever a task is given to you, you have to force your brain to not get into their natural habit of start fixing a problem. Not every problem is our problem. So whenever a task is given to you, my brother is expert in this, mashallah. So just ask yourself, is this your problem or not? And who can do it better than you? Okay? When you ask this self, it helps you in delegating the task or completely eliminating the task. Let me give you an example. You might have seen IT support practicing this in your company. You send them an email, my printer does not work, and they reply immediately. Have you put this cable in the electric socket? Like, and then when you see this email, you feel like, am I stupid? Like, of course I have placed this in the electric socket. But this is an amazing technique in which the IT support is literally throwing the ball in your court. Okay? It is an art. It is an art. And by the way, IT support is different than programming. So I do screw up things. I am not good in IT support. I start focusing on problems from the day one. I expect that, okay, the guy might have plugged in the cable in the electric socket, but turns out to be the more I'm spending time on researching about the problem, the guy did forget to unplug the power cable. So the thing is, you have to put the ball in someone else's court and eliminate as many scenarios as possible, because your brain power is a limited resource. It's a scarce resource that you need to make sure that you are only working on something which only you can do. All right. So what happens after elimination? You have eliminated the task, and now, you have to do the task. You have other option: either you delegate or you do it yourself. So see if among the team members, among your colleagues, or your subordinates, who can do this task better than you. Okay? And you should ask this question to yourself: do you enjoy doing this task? If you enjoy doing this task, all right, you do it because you get the sub bonus of enjoyment. But if you don't enjoy doing this task, all right, it's better to delegate it to someone. Yes. You have a problem.
This is for me. I feel very difficult here because this is from my experience. I have 20 years experience.
MashaAllah.
And this 20 years experience is very complicated.
Okay.
When I delegate a task to someone, when I delegate a task to someone, I feel that there are two lines, like there are two things I need to think in parallel, okay? Which is the competence of those people. If they are incompetent, if they are not qualified enough to finish the task, so I should make it and I should delay. So this my decision always. This is my problem. Like I always postpone. I always delay. I ask the boss to delay. I have some bunch of idiot here. I cannot delegate to them. Okay, I'm sorry for saying bad words, but this is the truth in my life. I always feel that these things are very difficult for them. I have tried once, twice, third, like 3, 4 times I tried with them. They cannot do it. They are not competent. So I have 2 lines I'm telling you in parallel. I always think about it, which is politics and why the HR hired those guys. These 2 things I always I always think about it, and it really distracted me a lot.
I agree. Thank you so much for the question. It's so relevant, and I have been facing this issue as well. And I'm going to repeat the question. The question is that, correct me if I'm wrong, the question is that how do you decide if it's okay to delegate or you should do the task yourself? You feel that the other person is incompetent and cannot do the task, and I can do the task myself. And then the task list gets overloaded because you have to do all of them. All right, so we have to recognize some key problems here. Problem number 1 is high expectations from the task. Okay, so you really need to set your expectation for the tasks like exactly the same, which is to the same that the person who is requesting the task from you. Let's say if your boss is requesting a task from you, their expectation could be bare minimum, but maybe you're setting the bar very high.
I always think about it.
It's like, for example, Azhar, mashallah, who is producing the video, and inshallah, if you want to get your photos and all the creative stuff, you will approach Azhar. Azhar is our team member, and I face this problem with Azhar a lot. What happens is that, mashallah, he's very creative. He's amazing. He wants to do the best in every task I give it to him. So whenever I ask him, Azhar, please make this video produced, and he's spending days and days, and in my head, I expect the video was done maybe 3 days ago. But when I check with him, he's still working on the video. And when we dig deeper, I understood that, mashallah, his expectations from his role is so high, he wants to do his best. But for me, as his manager who is assigning a task to him, my expectations were to deliver on time. I don't want that high quality. His bare quality, like his poor quality is best for me and for my audience. So what happened is that we had to communicate. But I will admit, I'm guilty of this. I would come at him with frustration, like, why are you taking that much time? And I might sometimes judge him that he is incompetent, but that's not the case. He is trying to over-perfect it. Just 1 second, yeah. He is trying to over-perfect it because he is talented. He is very skillful. But then I had to pull him back to the level I belong, which is still really good for everybody else.
We have goals, we have high expectations. Maybe it's different from the companies or like the boss. So,
Yeah, exactly. So we have to make sure that we don't confuse with our goals, and we have to make sure that our goals match with the goals of the person who is assigning us a task. This will really help us in delivering things quickly and delegating. Since we're talking about delegation here, other part was that maybe the other person is really incompetent in this task. It doesn't mean that he is incompetent overall. He is incompetent in this task, and it is completely fine. He is incompetent now, but if you don't give him a task and don't give him time to research and do mistakes and then correct him and give him feedback, when will he improve? Which is even me. Yeah. Exactly. I have been into this trap as well. I'm still in this trap. I do fall into this trap like every now and then. And this is something that we have to cope with. All right. Okay. Well, I'll take you aside and we'll have a conversation on this. All right. You had a question. Right. Yeah.
Is that time is always over quality? Is this always the case?
Okay.
Or not?
Question.
Yeah.
Really good question. Okay. So your question is that what you understood is that I'm focusing on time instead of quality. No, it's not the case all the time. It really depends what are your negotiating terms with your client or with someone who gave you a task. Okay? And there's a technique that I use, and I hope my clients are not watching right now. So they are, Yani. So there's a technique that we use, which is very common. It's in negotiation. It's a negotiation skill, which also is applicable on deadlines. So whenever someone gives you a time and a deadline, you're sure that this task can be done tomorrow. Tell the other guy next week, and then deliver it next day. Okay? Like for example, my wife's phone got broken, and we went to Arab computers for the warranty. They said it will take 10 to 15 days. I got frustrated, like 10 to 15 days just to replace the screen. It takes 30 minutes if I went to a shop at Khalid ibn Walid. He said, yes, sorry, sir. And said, okay, what can I do? I got frustrated one time. They called me next day, your phone is fixed. And I was so happy, oh my God, the customer service is amazing. Even though they're still late when it comes to the shops in Khalid bin Walid. But what happened was they set my bar to 15 days and they delivered it next day. This is negotiation, all right? So let's say if you think that you want to give more quality to a task, then ask for more time, okay? Have a backup plan for your task. Okay, if the quality one does not get delivered, I still have a shitty presentation to deliver, all right? Which will still make the other person happy, all right? I hope this answers the question. Yeah. Exactly. You can also negotiate the quality, the level of quality with the person who's giving you a task. All right? My clients, please forgive me. Okay. What comes in organization? See, in GTD or in pretty much every other task management system, you really have to list everything down which is in your head. And then you decide if it's a project or not. You have a vacation with your family to Maldives, you have to write it down as a project. As a project, write it down as a project. You have a presentation, write it down as a project. You have, let's say, a wedding, and you need to be ready for that wedding, write it down as a project. Everything that is in your mind, maybe you're sleeping at night and then something is bothering you and it not allowing you to sleep. It could be anything. It could be something very stupid. Write it down as a project. Aham shay, we need to put it out from our system, our head, and then make it as a project. And it's your choice if it really deserves to be a project, or maybe you can just discard it and trash it. Discard it, trash it, keep it active. And there's a tip I want to give. We as human beings have a limit in tackling projects. Don't have more than, some say 6, some say 10. My capacity is 5. I cannot have 5 projects running at the same time. Something which are under my direct control. Anything more than that, I archive them. What does archiving them mean? Archiving means that, okay, you put them in a separate list. I'm going to work on them once I finish these 5. Okay? And you finish these 5 projects. It could be different for you. You might be, mashallah, a supercomputer. You could be 10 projects. But my personal capacity is not more than 5 projects. And it can be both personal, work, anything. All right? And then there's another list of delegation. One is archiving, one is delegation, where you completely delegate a project to someone. And you just follow up maybe once in a week. Depends on how urgent the project is. It's not in your active list. Active list means something that you're supposed to do yourself. Okay? Or maybe some parts of it are delegated, but a project that is completely delegated to, let's say, a supplier, to a vendor, it's not in your active list. It's under a delegation list. Okay? Again, some tactics that you can use for tasks. One is scheduling them. Schedule the task in each project in your calendar. You have another list for reminder. You have a list for delegation inside your projects as well. And there's something else called, okay, I think I missed it. Contacts. We'll come to the do part, inshallah. Okay. Review. What is review? In simple terms, review means develop a habit to look at your projects every day. When you wake up, look at your project. If you're writing it down in a notebook, it becomes very easy because a notebook is just there, not for Instagram, not for Twitter, not for anything else, just for writing things down. Just develop a habit, read it. Pretend like you're reading a religious book, you know. It should become religion to you. Read your projects every day in the morning, and then maybe in the middle of the day, and then before sleep. And this is a quote from the co-founder of LinkedIn. Do you know the name of the co-founder of LinkedIn? Is it Jeff Bezos? No? Okay, who is it? Mr. Hoffman. Okay, this is his last name. I don't remember his first name. Mr. Hoffman, I was listening to his podcast. He shared a very famous quote, a very famous saying from his experience, which is that if you want to solve a very critical problem and you are out of ideas, write it down on a piece of paper, read it loud, and just sleep. In the morning when you wake up, you will come up with ideas. And once you're coming with ideas, don't wait. Okay, I'm going to go take shower. I'm going to have breakfast. No, by that time you'll face your wife. So before that, you need to write them down. Write them down quickly. Because our brain does work when we're sleeping. Me, I cannot watch a horror movie before sleep. I'll keep thinking about it the whole night. I will have nightmares. Happen with you guys? Anyone? I'm the only one who gets scared? Okay. So it happens with me. So whatever, feed your brain and it will work for you. You're kind of delegating it while you're sleeping. Exactly. All right. And then develop a habit for reviewing. It's as simple as that. Review your projects, mark things down that are done. Okay. If you think that something can be delegated, delegate it as soon as possible. If you thought something could be done in 2 minutes, finish it quickly, and that's it. This is the sum. Get clean, clear, current, and complete. Clear things down in your project list, in your task list. Some ideas on when you can review. You can review maybe every morning, every evening. Maybe your projects take very long, like civil projects. You can do reviews on a weekly basis. Okay. Maybe you can do a specific day, let's say on Saturday. I review on a daily basis, by the way. The fun part and the easy part, do. And this might be also the complicated part. Okay, Ahmed, I'm writing this down, I'm putting them on the calendar, but I'm not doing them. All right? You have to keep in mind something called context. Okay? If you're driving right now and you have a headset, okay, what do you think is the best way you can utilize that time? How you can utilize that time while you're driving? Yes. Sorry, you said? Sorry? Yeah. You will listen to a podcast. Amazing. You will listen to something. All right. Anyone else?
Besides my driving, sometimes I have a daily report.
Okay.
So while dropping off my wife, I let her work on the laptop first the daily.
Wow. Wow. So I'm gonna repeat what he said. Okay, I had this in my head, but I was too scared to ask my wife. So he's like, when I'm driving and my wife is with me, I'll give the laptop to her, and you will make your wife your assistant, right? She will do this. Amazing. I mean, this is great. Like, this is amazing. So it is applicable to the wives as well. If the wife is driving, she can ask you to work on their presentation. All right, you're not gonna get mad. She is really good. Lala, this is amazing. I was not expecting it. It's amazing. I think I should try it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So this is called context. The context right now is driving. Okay. So you need to have a list of things while you're driving. Okay. You can either listen to a podcast. You can either call a client and maybe discuss a project, maybe call a relative, maybe someone. So you need to prepare a list of things that you will only do while you're driving, and name that list driving. And maybe you can have that list on your dashboard in the car. Maybe if you have an in-screen in your car, maybe you can program it in a way that that task list will automatically open. You do that? You want to share something? Okay. Okay. Because it's on live, it's better if you share. Yeah.
What I do is going to work in the morning, I make calls for work related. Yeah, when I'm going back, so I do calls for my relatives, my parents. So
Nice.
Personal life after work in the morning, I do calls for work.
Nice.
So this is what I do.
You're in sales, right? I can see that. Because I do the same. Perfect. So yeah, have a list of things, because our minds are forgetful. You might just spend that 30 minutes, 1 hour in commute, and you might not do anything. But if you have a list, which means you are proactive, and you can do those tasks, which you might have to do in later times, where you could do anything better, right? So khalas, have a list of contacts. You can have another list of, like, for example, a list where you're just having a coffee. Like, for example, for me, I have list of shows I need to watch when I'm doing dinner. So I have like a list for dinner. When I'm doing dinner, I take 30 minutes. I have this episode to watch. So I have list for those. So it applies to your personal life as well. Okay? You can have a list of things that you need to discuss with your spouse. Like, okay, you're having a dinner with your spouse. This is a spouse list. I need to discuss this and get this done with my spouse. You can have a list of things with your child as well. That, okay, when I'm taking my child to the, like, let's say the school, I need to speak about this with my child. Or a list for boss as well. So this is called context. So instead of just writing things down randomly, categorize them in terms of context. A list of things when I'm on desk. Name it as desk. When I'm on my desk, I'll just look at that list. And subhanAllah, while you're looking at the list, your brain will start working on it automatically. If you have done your job of creating those lists. And then of course, there's, other than context, Other way of categorizing is priority. Some tasks need to be done urgently no matter where you are. Like an urgent task, your client calls like, I need the quotation right now. And now, of course, you cannot tell your client, no, this is my dinner time and I'm going to watch Netflix. Of course, it will be unethical for the client or immoral for the client to do that, but it happens, right? And it's urgent and you care for the client. It's not like he is forcing you, but now it's urgent. You're going to forget about all the context, and this is high priority. You're going to ask your team to do it and then have a group call, for example, because it's urgent, for example. So you can categorize your task based on priority, high priority, medium, low priority, all right? And energy available. This is, I haven't seen this in any productivity system except this one. There might be, but I haven't seen. And we ignore it. We forget that we're human beings. We think that, okay, we're machines, we're robots. We compare ourselves with your colleagues. Oh my God, this guy is so hyperactive. Why cannot I do this task quickly? We have to be mindful of our energies. Okay? So if you feel, this is very subjective. There is no numbering for this. You're the best one who can tell yourself if you have the energy to do a task or not. For example, studying a new topic requires high level of energy. And when do we have the high levels of energies? First thing in the morning. For people who are early risers, for some people, their energy comes in when they're alone. And it's usually midnight. Okay, you're one of those, okay? Perfect. So you have to be mindful, when are you energetic? And then you decide that this task is better if I do it in the morning, or if I do it when I need focus in the night when nobody is bothering me. So you have to be mindful of what? Guys, energy, right? Come on, man. I'm the one getting old. Not you, you're young. Okay. And of course, time available. Time available is easy peasy. How much time you have? Okay? Maybe a task requires 1 hour, and it's better to finish it in one go instead of splitting it into 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. So you see in your calendar where you can spot that extra 1 hour. Okay? And usually I combine time available with energy available, because sometimes what would happen is I have the time, but I don't have the energy. Right? Okay, I already mentioned this. And we're done with the theoretical part of GTD. I wanted to ask this question. Have you heard about this methodology before? Who have heard about this methodology before? Just raise your hand. You, GTD, all right. Have you applied this in your life? You have. You're applying it right now in your life. Right now, at this moment. Okay, great. What about you? Have you applied this on your life, GTD? In different times, you tried. All right, so it's a matter of habit. Like me, like I'm struggling with developing habits. Exactly. All right, so you said that one or two habits that you learned from GTD that are stuck with you. Yeah.
Which is basically the next step method, which is basically every project that I write down or I have to-do lists or whatever it is, my mind immediately goes to what's the next step on this. And that has helped me a lot, very much.
What is the next step?
What is the next step? And I do the next step immediately.
Great.
So this helped me progress whatever things I have on my to-do list.
Mr. Right, right?
Yes.
Right. This is amazing. I forgot this part. Can you please explain about the next step again? What is next step in every project?
Whatever project you have, you didn't put it in your papers or your electronic system unless it's causing you some mental stress. And then when you look at it, when you basically review, but I don't do it religiously or explicitly, when you look at it, you know that you need XYZ. So what's the first thing you have to do? Okay. Is it a phone call? Is it an email? Is it, I don't know, take a car drive to somewhere else. It could be anything, but do that first step and then see what comes up next. Then you have result.
What is the second?
Small baby steps that will basically push your project to completion.
Perfect. And you mentioned second. You mentioned 2 items, right? Next step.
Yeah, because I have mental stress, I forgot the second now.
Okay, no problem. All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Raid. And this is so important. And I don't know how I forgot. So when you're organizing your projects, it's not just you're listing your projects and then listing your tasks. No. You have to pick up from those tasks the next action, next step. And you might ask, what should be the next step? The next step should be the action that will move that project closer to completion. So for example, it happens like you're anxious about a project, you're anxious about the presentation, and you don't know what to do. Like you're anxious and it's an important presentation in front of like very prestigious guest, and you're just thinking about it, worrying about it. So first of all, you write this project down, and then second of all, you should list down all the tasks in this project. So for example, if the project is presentation, the task could be slides, the task could be having a good suit, the task could be getting a proper haircut, the task could be research on the topic, the task could be, because you need to add some pricing on the presentation, quotation, you need to add a quotation, and then all the tasks you will put them under the project. But among all those tasks, what is the first and next step that you need to accomplish right now? You choose the one that would be and mark it as in brackets next step. And don't look at all the tasks. Finish this next step, focus on it, done, and now the next step would be the next item that will move this project to completion. Thank you so much, Mr. Raid. We'll have a break where we can network, and then after the break, inshallah, we'll have a practical session in a cloud system called Notion. Ahmed Wazir will give you a demo, and we will implement GTD using Notion. And let's meet up right now, have a networking session. Can we switch it to break, please?
Testing, mic, testing. Is it showing like the bars on the screen? Testing. Mic testing. Okay. So let's start. Okay. So we'll start, Ahmed. Could you please take your seats so that we can start?
We're going to start our second session with Ahmed Latif, my very good friend. Is going to speak on GTD, and before that, he's going to introduce his company briefly. And he's an entrepreneur, mashallah, founder of Vast Marketing Services, and he will cover the more interesting section of today's meeting, which is how to implement GTD in an online platform called Busha. Right? And if you have any questions, since we're really out of time, what we will do is I would request everybody to write down their questions if you have one. And I'm going to cover them, inshallah, at the end of the session. All right? And Ahmed, we have a request from the back, but you have to speak louder. You're a bodybuilder, so come on.
Okay, so can everyone at the back hear me clearly? So? Okay. So I'll try my best to be as loud as possible. If you cannot hear me that clearly, then I would suggest you come closer, or I'll come closer to you. Whatever works, inshallah, we'll try. So basically, before we start into the practical session of Getting Things Done by David Allen, I just wanted to give you a quick introduction of my company. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a marketing agency called Vast Marketing. We provide digital and traditional marketing services. We started approximately 4 months ago. So alhamdulillah, I'm a foreign investor. Like, I was able to do the business 100% in my name, just like Ahmed. So we are both partners, you know, whenever it comes to work. We're not really competitors. We don't look at each other that way because the market is huge. If he takes some share of it, I take some share of it, you know, we're both happy. That's what matters the most. So Vast Marketing basically focuses more towards digital marketing because that is where my expertise comes in. I am a certified digital marketing professional by the Digital Marketing Institute. So when it comes to social media marketing, Google AdWords, looking for keywords, all that, you know, the digital stuff, I can help you with that. Since we're a startup, so we are also, you know, getting a lot of influence when it comes to the entrepreneurial mindset. That's what we focus on. And that's my target market. I want to work with entrepreneurs and startups. Established companies, I can work with them too. However, their demands are too high. And for me to work with them, you know, it becomes a bit of a challenge. But however, I don't say no to them. So that's me in a nutshell. Now let's talk about Notion. Notion is basically a platform which has been created by a group of developers in Asia who wanted to make the process of doing work and getting things done much easier. So it's a workspace that you create for yourself, obviously virtually, because you have the access to the website. And the best part about this, you can, as an individual, you can start for free. So there are no charges whatsoever that you would have to pay for starting out free. There are a few limitations with the free account, which I can cover for you, where you will be restricted in terms of how much of a file size you can upload. But again, there are other ways of uploading those files. So for example, you can upload the file on Google Drive and you can upload that link from Google Drive. But uploading the file directly onto Notion will require you to make sure that, you know, the file is of a certain capacity in size and not anything more than that. So this is the website. It's known as notion.so. You can check it out in your own times. You can save the link for you know, later viewing that you would like to go through. So it's one workspace where you can, you know, collaborate with your team, and they have a lot of different, you know, pricing models. So let's look at the pricing first. So it's for individuals. If you have a personal preference that you want to work with, right, it starts off from $0, which I was saying that you don't have to pay anything for it. They have another program called the Personal Pro. Show of hands, how many of you are students over here? Okay, we only have 2, 3. Do you still have student email IDs working for you? Ahmed, I think we have our student ID working for us. So basically, why am I asking this question is because the second program that you see, which is the Personal Pro, it is also going to become for free if you have a student email ID or a lecturer's email ID that you can sign up with. Like I personally am using my Prince Mohammed bin Salman College email ID for this account. And for that reason, this $4 has become free for me. So you can also, you know, transition to the Personal Pro if you have basically a student email ID. Now let's look into what does Notion look like. So this is Notion. I have it in the dark mode. So Notion, this is my Get Things Done dashboard that I have created for myself. I will show you how to create this also to make your life easier, but I'll show you in a nutshell of how I personally, for my agency, I'm using Notion to organize everything. So I have a few things on the left hand side which are private to me. So for example, I have something called vast clients. So I'll show you what that page looks like. So these are all the clients. So basically you can customize even, the cover of your pages, of the structure of your page, how you want it to look like. So I have all my clients mentioned down here. If you notice on the left hand side, these are the names of the clients of the different companies that I'm working with in Jeddah. Now, what kind of service they're more interested in? Is it digital or traditional? If you notice, there are only a few that are interested in traditional marketing because they understand my limitations when it comes to traditional, and I'm focused more on digital marketing. Now, I also have something called vast tasks on the left-hand side, which I have linked to the right, to this table. I'll show you how the linking is done also so that it will make it easier for you to organize your work. Now, the second page I have is called vast tasks. So these are all the tasks that I have created for myself. I usually update this list on a daily basis. So the first thing I do as soon as I walk into the office, I look at what tasks do I have from the previous day and what tasks do I have for the coming day. It's better for you to organize your tasks on a daily basis. However, if you're focused more towards, long-term planning, then you can do it for a weekly, monthly, quarterly, or even yearly basis. Whatever you want to work with, whatever works for you, you can structure it accordingly. So like for example, look into digital assets of IDIT. This is a company that I serve. For example, make Sadat payment to the Ministry of Investment, like for my license, for example. So even personal tasks, I am putting up over here on Notion. So let's create a new task. For example, speak to Ahmed after the. So I've just created a new task, which is so simple, right? Speak to Ahmed after the workshop. So the next thing I can do is I can put a due date for my workshop. Like when is it due? When do I have to finish it? So I can say I want to basically do it today, and the end time should be. So I want to include time. Let's say I want to basically do this at 1 p.m. and it ends by, let's say, 6 p.m. And I want it to send me a reminder at the time of the event. And that's it. Simply, I just put a reminder for myself and it will pop up in my face as soon as I open the application again that you have to speak to Ahmed at 6 p.m. Or the notification is going to stay active from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. till you actually finish that task. Now, I have also put in a lot of tags for myself. So these are different tags I work with. So for example, if I want to assign someone a new tag, let's say I want to create Ahmed from Sohobi. So this is a tag that I just created for myself. So the benefit of these tags is that later in the future, if you want to search for information, you can just go to Quick Find and search Ahmed from. I'm coming to that. Yes, it can be. What is that? Yes, I'll tell you what the context is. So context is, for example, have you ever been experienced with filing documents in a file, right? We put labels for ourselves, right? Like, for example, these are work related. This is some ministry related. This is, for example, my boss's papers. So the way you organize and structure yourself, like the papers in a file, these are same tags you're putting in for yourself, right? So this is like, for example, you add multiple tags to one task. The reason why you do that is because it will make it easier for you to find, because that's the first tag you're going to think of in your mind. You're going to search for it and automatically your task will show up. Okay. So, and then if this task is a high priority task or not, so you can also put in a checkbox for yourself. What is the duration of the task? Like, for example, there are tasks that require me to work for 15 days, 30 days, maybe 1 day, maybe 30 minutes. Based on the time limit or the time duration you have for that task, you can adjust it in your sheet. Now, these are tasks related to the projects table. Now, I'll show you what the projects table is. So these are the client projects I'm working with. right? So I can customize it. So for example, incoming projects, I put a, just an emoji over there because these are dreadful projects that I'm looking forward to, for example. Ongoing projects, like projects I'm actually happy about because they've already paid and everything is working fine. So again, the devil emoji. And then projects that are completed, I'm happy that I have completed these projects, right? So this is how I organize my work, and I'll show you how to create those pages so you can basically have a little bit more fun when it comes to organizing your work. Now let me show you the cash flow situation. This data is not real, by the way. I made sure that it's not real. I'm not going to be disclosing my financial information over here. So for example, I have created an income table over here. So let's say in the month of June, I have basically earned an income of 35,000 riyals, for example. This is showing me a total income. However, within each, like for example, website, how much I charged, for a restaurant that wanted a project done, how much did I charge them? MBSC is one of my clients, for example, how much I charge them. So all these, incomes that I have, the money that has come into my account, I put them over here. So I can have a month by month view in 2021 to see how much income is coming into the company. And this is obviously for my own personal viewing. Expenses. Now I want to see how much expenses. This is the dashboard. Yeah, so basically this is a table right here that you can create for yourself, and all the data has been linked to the table underneath. So you can basically, see, like for example, total income is this much, total expenses is this much, and the balance. And this you can also, make for 2021, 2022, and so on and so forth. Now, this was my company related. Now let's go to my personal life. So this is, for example, different, tasks I have put in. Now I'll show you the projects table. So for example, these are different, projects tables that I have, projects that I'm working on. Let's say immigration, bank account, saving goals, these are different things that I have added. My personal cash flow. I know it looks cute, but I tried not to put my personal cash flow in here. So for example, we have 145 riyals of my income and expenses are 150, which is the life of every single person over here. You earn less, you spend more. It's inclusive of that. It's inclusive of that.
You pay back.
Yes, but the advantage that I have as an entrepreneur is that because I'm the sole, like Sharika Shakhs Wahid, basically, that's the name of the sigil. So the advantage I have, even any personal expense I make, I can claim the dhariba from the government on that. Yeah.
If the company, for companies, I mean for CR, kind of thing, you can claim it, you are not paying.
Yes. So inshallah, that's the plan. I mean, saving, as much as possible. And, now, how many of you use Trello? Have you heard of Trello before? Okay. So Trello is another project management application that you can use to manage your projects. Okay. It is not a productivity tool. This is a productivity tool. Trello is where you put in individual projects you're working on. And this is what it ideally looks like. For example, these are all the email IDs within the company that I have. These are all my social media accounts. These are like the freelancers I'm working with, for example. The identity of my company. So these are different projects that I have identified for myself on Trello. And the benefit of using Notion is that you can link Trello to Notion. Okay. Now, let's get into the practical aspect of it. So the first thing you want to do when you want to create a new, let's say a dashboard or a page. So what you should do is to go down here. If you notice on the bottom left hand corner, you have something called new page. So we'll create a new page. And then I can go here and say open as new page. The first thing I want is to make it, small text, full width. So I can add an icon. Let's say I don't like this emoji. I can say, let's go for the hand sign. And then I want to add a cover page. I can change the cover page also. For example, let's say I like, since we're in a coffee shop, so let's use something related to coffee.， and you can reposition it the way you want. Now let's say I want to give this page testing Notion workspaces. Now there are different things you can start off with, okay? So you have something called empty with icon. This is the page structure itself. Then you have something called empty where you don't have anything whatsoever and you can get creative on your own. Then you have templates already that have been built by different, Notion users, and they're ready to use templates. If you don't want to spend your time in creating a new template for yourself, you can use existing templates to make your job easier. And you also have something that's called import, where you can import pages or data or different designs from third-party sources. Go ahead. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So I'll show you. So let's say we want to see the existing template. So you have different templates that are here. So you have design, you have studio, engineering, human resources, marketing, personal, other, product management, sales, support, right? So you have different kinds of templates ready for you to use. Let's go to the sales one. And you have meeting notes, right? So every meeting that you attend, you want to be able to take down notes that what is happening in the meeting. You have a sales CRM, which is a customer relationship management system. So you can create your own CRM on this platform, which is amazing. You don't need to buy a software or an ERP solution, because if you're especially a startup, you don't have that budget to use, right? So you can create your own over here. You have Sales Wiki. So Sales Wiki is more like a questionnaire you set for yourself that a customer asks you, or a potential customer asks you those questions. You can just drag and drop the answer into the chat, like WhatsApp, for example, and send it to them. Competitive analysis, these are templates ready. So let's look at, for example, Sales CRM. It's just loading. All right, there we go. So this is our sales CRM template, okay? So basically this is more like a to-do list that you can set for yourself and you can get creative with. For example, you don't like the way the information has been structured, so you can customize it. So all you have to do is just click on it and you will see the details right here. Like when you go within it, you will see more details, like the location. Now this is linked to Google Maps. So this is the advantage. You have the ability and the freedom to use Google services and link them into Notion. You're not going to be charged for this, right? So it's all for free. So don't worry about it. Then you put in the hours. So this is something what it's going to look like, right? Now you have a checklist over here. So you want to buy healthy snacks. So this is more like a checklist that has been created within a page. So you can use that also. So I'll show you another template that I have been working on. So for example, I have a website. Actually, this project is over. So I put in the client's logo for me to know what the project is and who the project is related to. Then I have a project brief right here. So this is exactly the questions that are being answered by the client. So they tell me what to do and what needs to be done. But this project is focused more towards website development. This is the content that is being used on the website that has been provided by the client. I ask my clients, just put it on a Word document, send it over, and then, let's see what we can do. So this is all the content that they send me. Project cost, I'm not going to show it to you. But I'll show you what the website is being built on and what the website looks like when it's live. So this is basically, it's a recycling company called Bawarik. So this is what the website looks like on the phone version. So you can have a live preview of your website over here also. Now, to make my life easier, if someone asks me, show me the conversation you had with your developer, which usually the clients ask. I have a history of all the communication that I have done with the website developer for my own record and for the record of the developer, because if there is anything that needs to be changed or edit, So we have a track of everything. And this is what I treat as a legal document, because I have a lawyer in the office who basically says, keep track of everything. So I have to listen to him. So that's why we have the whole communication over here in terms of the project cost, what has been done, what has been changed. Everything is basically recorded over here. Now, the benefit of a new page, we just created one. So let's just go back to that. So you have the task list right here that we created for ourselves. So let's say I want to create a new page, right? So what are the things that I can do to start off with a new page? The very first thing is that you can just put in / and it will give you a basic structure of options that you can choose from. So you have text, you have page, you have to-do list, heading 1, heading 2. So this is basically different customizations that you can do. Now, let's say I want to embed a file, right? I want to upload a file. So I can basically go to embed. So over here, you can link it to Google Drive. You can upload your documents from Google Drive. You can embed tweets. Let's say you have a Twitter account you want to manage. You can monitor that. You can also get a gist from GitHub, which also helps you. If you're a developer, you're a programmer, you want to work with these tools, you can also, incorporate those. Google Maps, another thing that you can add. Abstract, Figma, InVision. So different, third-party tools and softwares that if you are accustomed to or you are using, you can, basically add them over here.
For the students, I believe it's a good idea, to have like a folder that has all files that they are working on it. So anyone can update that file and it can be embedded there, I believe, in Google Drive.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Same file that everyone can update.
Yeah, of course. Now, let me basically, I wanted to show you. I'll send you resources. So if you have signed up with Ahmed already for this event, there's going to be resource material that I can share with you, like the website and the videos and tutorials that you can go through. And in case there's any question, you can reach out to Ahmed or me, and we will be more than happy to answer those questions for you. So this is basically Notion in a nutshell, and the amount of creativity you can go on with in this, it's going to be really going to change your lives. So with this, Ahmed, I believe like if you have any questions about Notion, I'm more than happy to answer those questions. Sure. I mean, in the future, we're going to, focus a little bit more deeper into this on exactly what you can do. Just because of time, I've just given you a summary right now. So inshallah, let's plan another workshop.
Does Notion have a specific GTD template? A GTD template?
No, but I can help in another workshop, for example, to be able to create it. So I have a template ready. Okay, so I'll quickly take you through the template that I have ready on hand. So the GTD dashboard that I have created is basically after creating the different pages, my live tasks and my company tasks. Once I have created those, I have linked them to the main dashboard. The main dashboard is known as the Getting Things Done dashboard. So whenever I have something coming up, it will show up over here in my inbox. And once it shows up in my inbox, it tells me that that's the first thing I need to look at, in like as soon as I open up my laptop or I open up Notion. So like right here, it's showing me that, look, you have to speak to Ahmed after the workshop. For example, the due date. It's the same way I have created the tasks list. Okay. Then there are different things, for example, that, require reviews. So let's say I want to require reviews for Basira, Samatweg, Vast. So these are different clients that I'm working with, and also the clients that I'm focused on at the moment. So this dashboard helps me that these are things, Ahmed, that I have to focus on, right? They require your review. I have set those types of timelines for myself or deadlines for myself that I need to focus on. Then these are basically tasks that are due soon. So this is going to show me that these are tasks you need to be able to finish as soon as possible. And then finally, high energy tasks, complete setting up Notion. So when I started off, creating my templates and my work on Notion, it took me a lot of time. And that's the thing with Notion. It takes time. You have to be able to give it time. And once you do, it's only a one-time thing. Later, your life becomes very simple. And these are like different tasks related to my company that I had to focus on, for example, and most of them are pretty much done. So what I can do is, I can basically tick them off and say, that these tasks are all done. So this is the main GTD dashboard that I have created for myself. So this is the purpose of having a GTD dashboard, is to have more of an overview of all the individual tasks and work you are doing. Okay, so you are not going to be able to, in reality, keep in mind all the nitty gritty, small tasks that you are supposed to do. It's not possible, because nowadays, mashallah, like all of us are pretty much, as soon as we wake up till the time we sleep, we have one after the other things coming and we're supposed to do. So keeping track of those in your daily lifestyle is not going to be that simple. GTD makes that simple for you. Like the same way Ahmed explained the whole concept of GTD, you're going to be able to apply it to yourself by using a tool, which is Notion, and it will help you getting things done, basically. Okay. All right. So any other questions? Like anybody want? No?
It can be linked to point of sale, POS.
It can be linked to point of sales or any accounting system.
It can be.
It can be.
There are third-party tools which are paid, where you can automate tasks. So, for example, thank you, Ahmed. So, for example, I use Zoho Books within the company, which is an accounting software which helps me to prepare quotations and invoices. So, what I have done to that is that I use something called Zapier. Zapier is an automation tool. I have linked Zoho Books to Notion. So if I do anything on Notion, it is automatically updated on Zoho Books. If I do anything on Zoho Books, it is automatically updated on Notion. Yeah. You can link Foodix. The only thing you would need from Foodix is their API code. That's where the technology comes in. So once you have their API code, you can embed that API into Notion, and automatically Notion will be updating and, converting all your data into the way you want to see it visually over here. I have done that. Because of time, I would have shown you all those steps, and it is. And inshallah, in the future, once we have more of these workshops, I will definitely be able to show you more of, how you can take Notion to your fullest, capacity, basically. Yes. That's why I'm also excited. I want to finish mine and listen to the music.
Will it take time? I just wanted to share, there was a question from Brother Rai. Mr. Rai, I am still on this. We had a question from can you ask the question again? Maybe Ahmed can answer better. Okay.
Yeah, the question that I'm facing, regarding the like the feeling that you always feel that we are or I am the smartest person in the room, right? So that feelings really, it's like, it has been for 3 years with me right now. And I feel that every time I'm moving to a new company or a new project, that everyone are incompetent and they cannot perform the job. Okay, I have tried many times with them. I don't know, maybe the different background, the different studies, the different experience that I have been exposed to, maybe that led to that situation. It is it has part of psychological impact. But again, it's really a bad situation.
Okay, that's a great question, and I have come across that kind of question before, and it is something that I experience in my daily life too. So I'm in a similar, situation as you. So how do I make most of that situation is, rather than feeling that, everyone else is incompetent around me or not, let's say skilled enough to come to my level, I rather start mentoring them. I start helping them out. I start making sure that I train them in that direction that they can come to my level. I have interns and freelancers that I'm working with, and initially it was very hard for them to build that reputation with me because I come from a background of marketing purely. Now, how do I get a web developer to understand the needs of the client? Like web developers, for example, when you ask them to build a website, they're just gonna build the website, but they're not gonna care about SEO, for example. They're not gonna care about the visual aspects of the website. They don't care about UI, UX. You just give them the website and they'll start. Yani, alhamdulillah, I have people who I don't have to, follow up with like what's the progress of the work, what's happening. However, these other factors, started to affect the quality of work that I was delivering. So what I did for that is that when I started to involve myself in those projects, I sat down with the developer and I told him, listen, what you're delivering is great, but it's not the best. In order for us to make it the best is let me work with you. You tell me every step of the way what you're doing so that I can work with you and guide you in making sure that we're delivering something of quality. Go ahead.
So the problem that we all face right now when we're overachieving is that we have expectations from our colleagues, and this problem also digs into our personal lives. For example, you might compare your spouse with someone, like if that spouse can make a better roti than my spouse, for example. What have helped me is, see, we as human beings, we will always compare. But what really helped me, or it could help anyone else maybe, is don't compare someone with someone else. Compare the same person with his or her previous version. Okay? So one's husband might be lazy and might not go to the bakala and bring, let's say, a yogurt, and your neighbor's husband might do it quickly. If you compare him with him, then of course there's a problem, and you will have that problem in your head. But if you compare your husband with his previous version, that okay, he was living a life of a prince, and even right now, if he goes there and he struggles and goes there and at least goes there, and previously in his previous version of himself, he was never doing this kind of stuff, It applies to employees as well. Like, if I have my team members, if I compare one team member with the other team member, instead of seeing what was his past and then judging him based on his past performance, that would make my life easier as a manager. Okay, I'll feel happy that at least this guy is growing. He's better than his past version. So that's from my experience. Yeah, it's not from David Allen. Copyright Ahmed Mushtaq, all right? All right, so we'll have the music session. Farhan? All right, great. Thank you so much, everybody. All right. This is it. You have to request. If your request get accepted, why not? Well, I will not to start. Okay. Great.
Well, thank you so much, Ahmed, for inviting me here. I would like to add just one thing: creativeness. Don't lose your creativeness. In the hassle of this professional life. Always go for something that you love to do. You will be more motivated in life. So yeah. I might not sound so loud, so it's okay. Yeah. on nifus rushing, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stand? Would it be a sin? Oh, if I can't help falling in love with you. Take my hand, take my whole life too. Oh, if I can't help falling in love with you, if I can't help falling in love with you. Thank you. So this is gonna be like a mashup. I'm holding on your rope, got me 10 feet off the ground. And I'm hearing what you say, but I just can't make a sound. You tell me that you need me, then you go cut me down. But wait, you tell me that you're sorry, didn't think I would turn around and say, hey, تذكر آخر مرة شفتك سنت، تذكر وقت آخر كلمة انت، وما عادك شفتك وهلا شفتك، كيفك انت ملا انت، كيفك انت ملا انت، एक एहसास है ये सोचा ना था, वक्त ढलता रहा मैं चलता रहा, अंधेरों में भी एक रोशनी थी, उस रोशनी में घर ढलता रहा, तो दिल मेरा रोए तो क्या, वक्त की रातों को तोड़े तो क्या, मंजिल तो अपनी पाएंगे हम, वक्त को अपना बनाएंगे हम। That is too late to apologize, yeah. And that is too late to apologize, yeah. हम तेरे बिन अब रह नहीं सकते, तेरे बिना क्या वजूद मेरा, तुझसे जुदा कर हो जाएंगे तो खुद से ही हो जाएंगे जुदा. I feel this love like I feel it burn down this river every turn. Hope is our four-letter word. I make that money, I watch it burn. Oh, but I'm not that old, young, but I'm not that bold, and I don't think this world is sold. I'm just doing what we're told. तेरा मेरा रिश्ता है कैसा, एक पल दूर गवारा नहीं, तेरे लिए हर रोज है जीते, तुझको दिया मेरा वक्त सभी, हर लम्हा मेरा ना हो तेरे बिना, हर सांस पे नाम तेरा. أنا كلي لك، عيوني لك، أنت حياتي، عمري لك. أنا كلي لك، عيوني لك، أنت حياتي، عمري لك. कि तुम ही हो, अब तुम ही हो जिंदगी, अब तुम ही हो. This one is dedicated to Ahmad. दूर जितना भी तुम मुझसे, पास तेरे में, अब तो आदत सी है मुझको ऐसे जीने में, जिंदगी से कोई शिकवा भी नहीं है, अब तो जिंदा हूँ मैं इस नीले आसमां में. Let's sing along. Hey, hey, hey. Oh. सभी बातें हैं, रुला दो उन्हें, बता दो Thank you.
This was a surprise. This is my favorite song.
I mean, I tried, yeah. So this is one of my favorite song called Knocking on Heaven's Door. Probably some of you guys are familiar with this. Mama, take this baggage from me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. I feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knock it 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 on heaven's door. Mama, put my guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore. The long black cloud is coming down. I feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knock it 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 on heaven's door. So, thank you. This one is gonna be the last song from my side, and there is an amazing musician sitting here, Abdullah. So probably if you have time, he can sing few songs. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, why not? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, the lines for
So this is an Indian song.
yeah. आंखें जो तेरी देखी शराबी ये दिल हो गया संभालो मुझको ओ मेरे यारो संभलना मुश्किल हो गया गुलाबी आंखें जो तेरी देखी शराबी ये दिल हो गया संभालो मुझको ओ मेरे यारो संभलना मुश्किल हो गया मैंने सदा चाहा यही दामन बचा लूं हसीनों से मैं तेरी कसम ख्वाबों में भी बचता फिरा नाज़नीनों से तो मगर से नजर मिल गया दर्द जिगर सुंदरा ओ बेखबर बुराए जादू तेरी आँखों का ये मेरा कातिल हो गया गुलाबी आंखें जो तेरी देखी शराबी ये दिल हो गया
Thank you. That's it.
No problem.